Welcome to Face2Face. This is a show about change and about what's next. It's a show that wants to ask questions, peel back the layers of our average everyday experience, and go beyond scratching the surface. We interview amazing people with incredible ideas and stories who have done wild, weird, and wonderful things. Remember that imagination shared creates collaboration, and collaboration creates community, and community inspires social change. I'm David Peck, and this is Face2Face. My next interview is with another filmmaker in town at the Toronto International Film Festival this past fall, Iram Haq, to talk about her new film, her compelling and disturbing and engaging new film called What Will People Say? This is a film about family and about community. It's about culture. It's about crossing cultures, but it's also a film about oppression and anger and fear and patriarchy and all of those things that matter so much to moving the needle forward with respect to social change when it comes to things like gender injustice. This is a gorgeous, stunning film with incredible performances from the actors on sort of both sides of that conversation. And you're going to want to get out and see this as soon as you possibly can. It's fascinating, and it's a conversation worth having. This is about educating men. This is about how we're not living in a black and white world when it comes to these kinds of issues. And it's about voice and identity. And Iram is just a brilliant filmmaker and somebody you're going to want to look for in the future. Coming right up, that conversation. Don't forget davidpecklive.com for more information about my writing and my speaking. Also face2facelive.ca for more on podcasts, interviews, more on the Toronto International Film Festival, over 30 interviews this year, and also rabble.ca for podcasting, blogging, journalistic approaches and new lenses to see the world through from a Canadian perspective about global issues. Rabble.ca. Coming right up, Iram Haq and her new film, What Will People Say? Well, welcome to Face to Face. We're joined by a very special guest here today. Another guest at the Toronto International Film Festival. I can hardly believe it. Only this third day in, Iram Haq is here to talk to us about her new film, What Will People Say? Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
You're on a bit of a schedule, I understand.
Yes.
You've got a 2 o'clock premiere, you got to get the hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And we're about to talk about a very serious film. Am I allowed to say that I enjoyed the film?
Oh, that's lovely to
I
hear.
did, absolutely. I mean, it's entertaining, it's enjoyable. The performances are astounding, it's gorgeous to look at, but it's so disturbing.
Yeah.
It's such a tension there for me. Was that purposeful going in as a director, that you wanted that kind of a contrast?
Well, I wanted to make a movie which feels real somehow.
Right. Well,
and life is mixed.
Life is mixed.
Yeah, it's mixed with happiness and sadness and a lot of anxiety.
Is that coming out of your own experience?
Yes, it's inspired by my own experience, and I build it up and fictionized it and modernized it. Yeah.
Turned it into something else.
Yeah.
So the question, you're on the big television interview, and somebody says, so what is the film really about? I mean, we've got oppression and power and family and love and trust, and I mean, what isn't it about? Is a better question, I guess.
Yeah, Well, it's a big question. It's about a culture clash. It's about 2 different generations. The father comes from a different world than the daughter, and what kind of pressure they feel when they live abroad, when you're not in your safe space,
right.
When you're outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
What happens then?
I love the scene near the beginning of the film where the father, Mirza, is dancing with the family, and the mom and the wife is embarrassed.
Yeah.
As if people are going to think that we're vulgar.
Yeah.
And the line was, I think, he left his country, but not his habits.
Yeah.
But you're not really talking about his dancing habits, really, at that point, are you?
No. I just it's a lot of lines and stuff. I try to it's just there, and you just understand what kind of community we're talking about, what kind of shame they're talking about. It's so much about shame. This movie, what happens when you feel shamed and you fear for that people will make fun of you and not like you, because we all want to be liked, and this is so much about that.
Would you say this film is about Pakistani women, or would you say this is about women globally? This is about gender justice. This film is about having a conversation about women everywhere.
Yeah, of course, it's about women many places, but I specialized it, or I don't know what the word is in English. Sure. But it's about women from South Asia with that kind of background and living abroad. And it's this, what will people say, is a saying in India and Pakistan, which is very, very common. Almost everybody grew up with it, also boys. Right. So it's like this pressure about behaving in a certain way so you're accepted in your society. And
is it saving face? Is that kind of what this is?
Yes, it is. And also about, I mean, this kind of community back home in Norway is very small and time to time very conservative, and what pressure they put on each other to just be a group, and you're already in a way an outsider back home there, because they're not integrated in the same way. Now things are changing. It's not like everybody's not integrated, so now they live there for 50 years, the Norwegian, Pakistani, so things are changing, but still they are keeping their culture very close to their lifestyle.
The story made me really angry.
Yeah.
I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I wanted to step in and defend. Like, honestly, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Some of the scenes are just so engaging and so deeply disturbing that someone who claims to love someone could treat them in this way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it's terrifying to me that this is happening around the world.
Yeah, it's sad. It is really sad, and it still happens many places. Here in Toronto, I guess, and also back in Norway and other places.
Yeah, often we like to think, oh, it's happening somewhere else,
yeah.
Right? It's not happening in our family, it's not happening in our culture,
yeah.
or our city.
Yeah,
this is what
happens to the girl next to you at school, and yeah, and then they go to holiday to their parents' home, and then you're gone. I'm not saying everybody is doing that, but many people, and it's sad. We should not lose any of our girls. It's our girls.
Well, and if you look at the statistics, the way this world is going to move to a better place is if we focus and invest in women, education, and giving them more opportunity, and I was going to say power, but maybe more responsibility is a better way to look at it.
Yes.
I can't believe how in the film, how you portray her character. She's just so, she's in prison.
Yeah,
this is a form of slavery.
Yeah, it is. But also, it's important to educate our boys, our men.
Yes,
I think that's important. So we see a change. We need to talk about it. We need to build bridge. We need to have a dialogue. We should not make black and white stories. We should start to think about, what is this? This is not just a girl. Look at the mother. Look at the aunt. They're complicit.
They're buying in.
Yeah, it's not just the men. So it's also the women. We need to talk about it. We should stop feeling so much ashamed. We should stop doing things people want us to feel, to make us feel bad. We should just have free voices to speak up.
Like it's like you said, it's not black and white. Is that the moralism? Is that the religion coming to bear? Do you think, or is that?
It's very cultural.
It's just cultural.
Yeah, you find it in Sri Lankan families. You find it in Indian families. You find it in different countries with different religion. So this is very, very much about culture, I think.
Did you set out, and maybe this is a silly question, but the contrast of how beautiful this film is, from the opening establishing shot of her running back home and the lighting, and it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
You kind of, I think you turned the story on its head for me, because it almost felt like it is a thriller, I guess.
In a way.
In a way, right? Yeah. Was that really intentional to go for that sort of, that juxtaposition or that contrast, I guess?
Well, I just wanted us to follow the emotions and what gives which shot. I mean, what's the different scenes
Yes.
have different emotions.
Of course, yeah.
And I follow those emotions and what suits the different scenes. So I really wanted us to feel that this is true. This is going on right now. So that was my intention, the way I told the story, with the way we shot the film, the sound, the music, the acting. And I was very into that we should never leave our character and make something arty out there and forget about the story. I thought it was very important for me to be true to the story all the time, everybody.
What's so lovely about it is Nisha's character. I feel like she's being chased at the opening scene, and she's not. And yet, that's kind of the story.
Yes.
She's being chased. She's the oppression, the kidnapping, etc.
Yeah.
Being chased by her culture, constantly being watched.
Totally, yeah, definitely.
Are you hopeful?
Yes, I am.
Are you?
Yeah. I think it will take time for a change, but I hope we can start to talk about it, and that's the beginning. To have a change, talk about it.
And is that conversation happening in this? I mean, probably in your circles, in my circles. I teach in international development, so I mean, we talk about these things academically.
Yes.
But you know, what will people say? Sort of is suggesting that we don't really want to talk about it at all.
Yes, I think we talk about it in some communities, but we need to talk about it with our parents, our brothers, our fathers, our mothers. We need to go home and talk about it. We need to open up. We should not be ashamed about it. We should invite them, and we should not start with judging, because if we judge, we make a bigger gap, and then we will not have a change.
The Nisha's the actress who plays her, astounding performance. It really is. It's
amazing.
Remarkable. The fear, the place she had to go to get to that place. Like I don't even understand how you can do that unless in a way maybe you've lived it. And I wonder if that's the writing and the directing. I mean, it's all collaborative. I do understand that, but did you have to research that? Did you have to, or you as women on set, did you have enough collective experience that spoke into that oppression and fear and so on?
Yes, and I follow my gut feeling. So when I write, when I direct, I follow always the gut feeling. Is this feeling true? Is this true? I don't believe this. We have to keep on rolling till I feel it's true. And we keep on working, and me and my actors, we work very, very close. So I'm always there, and they can rely on me, and I rely on them, and then we build this relationship. So we are so close that sometimes I'm sitting with this monitor and I'm crying behind, and I really believe it. And it's like also when the father is crying, I'm crying, and yeah, it's very close relationship when we work, and I just have to feel it's true. If not, I don't use those scenes. I take out everything in the editing room, which I don't believe in.
What I love about that is you can't write that down. You can't come up with a textbook that says, "Here's what I do," right?
Yeah, that's true.
This is experience. This is understanding your wisdom, what you're bringing to your role as a writer, director, filmmaker, etc. What about the community? You must have had a pretty intimate community on set by the film that I see.
Yeah, you're talking about this film set crew.
Yeah, just the crew, the actors, how you all behave together. It must have been.
It's like a family.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and we were in India. We had different crew. In India, I had Indian crew with some German, some Danish, some Swedish, and in Norway, I had Norwegian, Danish, German, and Swedish, and we became like a family, and we all have to work for the same. We all want to do the same. So it's like bringing all of them together with me. I feel like I make the movie together with them. It's like we all believe in the same story. That's important for me. If they don't believe in this, we cannot hang out 15 hours every day. So it's important that they believe in the same story and they have the same vision as me and want the same.
As a filmmaker, do you want to tell a great story? Entertain people or change the world?
Oh, change world is big.
That's
big thing
big, but
to
this
do.
is...
I want to tell great stories that maybe make you start to think differently about things, and talk about those. Talk about the voices we don't hear. This girl, like Nisha, we haven't. Of course, we have seen similar films where you talk about this kind of subjects. But I really wanted to go deep into it, but we never saw this subject from the father's point of view. That was important for me to start to understand them. I need to understand them. That's the only way I can tell other people how they are and what they feel. So that's important for me to bring up voices that we don't hear normally.
I don't want to believe that there's fathers out there like that.
Yeah.
That in one breath can say, if you do that again, I'll kill you. And then almost in another breath say, embrace and say, I love you. How does, as kids, being raised in homes like that, how is anybody surviving? You know what I mean? It's just, this is madness.
It is madness. And I believe this father is really frustrated between two. One thing is his emotions,
Yes.
what he really feels, and what is expected from him as a man.
Right.
As a father. So he's really trapped in between two things. And I really want to show that. And it seems like a psychopath, but it's also...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to call it evil.
Yeah.
It really feels like evil, and yet the way that you've so beautifully portrayed it, there's a real tension there. There's I was with both of them. I could sort of feel that contradiction, that paradox, that this is a horrible situation, and yet it as you said, it's fairly common around the world.
It is, and for me it's important to. For me it was important to understand why is he doing this. And how do he feel? What does he feel? I used a lot of time on that. The girl was easier to write.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
The father was much harder.
Much harder.
For me to understand, and I used years for understanding this father.
Is that a lot of men that you've met along the way, all poured into one?
Well, I spoke a lot with my father about him and his experience and his feelings, and he was such an old man at that point that he was not so proud that he kept away what he thought and felt about that time, because he was such a proud man, and now he could sit and tell me. Now he's dead, but when he was alive, and we talked a lot about his emotions about this.
So he was able to access the truth.
Yeah.
In a way,
he was
and
so
talk.
full of fear.
Yes, it's so much. We haven't even talked about the fear, but the fear is palpable. It's so
much
there.
power in fear.
Yeah, so much power.
How many stupid things we do then.
You have a premiere to get to, so sadly we're going to have to end this conversation, but what a pleasure meeting you. Congratulations, too. I didn't say it, on a brilliant, engaging, wonderful film. I wish you all the success. Everyone needs to see this. This is one of those kinds of films, it seems to me. So thank you for your time. We've been talking with Iram Haq about her new film, What Will People Say? You need to see this film here at the Toronto International Film Festival. Thanks for your time again.